Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today I'm going to show you how to make a bridge card. It's a card that will fold flat into an envelope and then pops up to be 3D. So let's get started. I'm going to be using Pool Party for this card. I know most of our cards start 8.5 by 5.5, but this one's actually going to be 8.25 by 4.25. So let me just get those score lines and with the bone folded to give them a nice crisp edge. So oops, as you can see, it was scored at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 5.5 and 6 7/8. And then we have two side panels which are 4 1/8 by 1 1/4, and they are going to go on each end. So I've made these using one of my current favorite stamps. I tend to say stamp set, and it's just the one big one. It's the Gentle Waves stamp set, which I know you've seen me use before. So stamped in Pool Party, I actually just stamped a whole sheet, divided them into quarters and just stamped them so they're all ready and waiting, because I think it's going to be quite a popular stamp set. And then there's a piece goes in the middle, and it's 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. I also made a floral card, and I did add the inside layer, but in this instance I'm only going to use the one, and you may recognize that it was from the last design that we made, and it's using the ocean front stamp set, the one that's all just the shapes. And I had this little piece left over, and as the colors match, I thought, well, let me just trim it down a little, waste not, want not, and then it will make a nice addition to this bridge card too. So that's going to go in the middle. It's also going to have a greeting on, and after it's, it's all been 3D-ized. So the best idea is to put the greeting on first, and I'm going to take one from the Paradise Palms again. Add it to the clear block. It's the one that says, wishing you a warm and beachy kind of day. It's the one I used the last time when it was all cold and snowy. It's actually been in the 70s today, so quite nice. But hey, there's never a bad time to wish it was warm and beachy. So it just peels off, goes back into its little box, and that's it done. So now we're going to add the bridge, which in this instance is 1 by 5.5. And obviously you can see it doesn't reach across the card. So here's where the trick comes in. So you just put a little bit of adhesive on one side and attach it to the edge of the card. Sometimes it's a little bit higher up. In this instance, I left it at the bottom because I wanted to look like the water is continuous. And then put a little bit of adhesive on the other end. And then we're going to fold the opposite side down. I tend to do mine this way because I'm a lefty, but same difference. And then attach it to the other side. So once it's lying flat, attach the bridge. That's how it would go into the envelope. But then when it comes out at the other end, it's 3D. There's a weird phenomenon, and I'm sure there's a scientific explanation, but I don't know why. I did mine that way, so it folds completely flat. If you try and do it the other way, sometimes there's a little warp, but it doesn't really matter, because as long as it goes one way and fits in the envelope, that's all you need. So here we go. Nice little 3D card, but a little bit plain. So we're going to dress it up a little bit. What I'm going to do is I took the Paradise Palms and I stamped the large palm with garden green ink onto Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and then I took one of the coordinating dies and cut them out using my cutter. So we've got 2 palm trees stamped and cut out, and then I also used the trunk and cut out 2 of those. They weren't stamped, they didn't need to be stamped, but that's how they go. So this is the set that I used, the Paradise Palm stamp set, useful on its own. The Paradise Palms dies, you can cut some things by itself, but if you buy them both together, it's a 10% discount, and it's called a bundle. So I tend to buy bundles if I know I'm going to use the dies a lot. So we have 2 trunks, 2 palm tree tops. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on these handy dandy little blobby topper things and put the greenery onto the trunk. And then I'm going to attach those, one on each side of the card, just by adding a little bit of adhesive at the bottom. And I want it to be about there, and as you can see, it overhangs the bottom, which won't fit in the envelope without getting crumpled, so we'll just snip that off. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Fold it in. And add it where you want it to be. And then snip the bottom off. And there you have it. A lovely 3D card with a lovely beachy theme. It stands up. Looks like that. And as I'd mentioned and promised before, I also made a floral version of the same card. And this is how that one looks. It's got the layer inside, so the white is actually the smaller size. And then it's got the 1 inch is the flirty flamingo, and the 3/4 inch is the extra layer. The rose is actually attached on dimensional, so it stands up, but I think they are 2 rather pretty cards. This, you might remember, is sort of Sentimental Rose, which I got when it was a paper pumpkin set, but it's now belongs to one of the kits that you can buy still from stampingup.com/kits. So it's still readily available. And I think these are 2 really pretty cards, which people will be proud to put on their mantelpiece. But they'll also still fold flat, so you can mail them to your recipient. So thanks again, always, for watching.